Hi guys, so I got a request to talk about university and sort of the course that I'm on, etc. So I'm just going to do a little bit of a guide to university, I guess, and if you're considering it, this may help you out a little bit, I'm not sure. Hopefully it'll help someone out there. So basically, the fees for a university course now has actually gone up, and it is around £9 in the UK now per year, so that is definitely something to consider. My course is just over £3 per year, and obviously I'm coming up to my 4th year and finishing now, so that's, you know, £12 already gone sort of thing, and I'm in debt now. So you've got to really weigh up whether your course is actually going to be worth it in the long run. For me, to be a primary school teacher, I needed to go to university. There's no way around it. There is various other routes to teaching, I think, but generally they're quite far and few between. So really, university was my only option. So the fees really didn't come into my consideration. However, if it had been £9 a year, so then you're talking £36 for 4 years, that, you know, I still probably would have gone to university, but it would have been something to consider. However, if you do have the advantage of, say, somebody paying for you, or a bursary, like a scholarship of somebody, then that is a massive bonus, and obviously take advantage of that. But otherwise, student finance do sort out your loans, and that basically goes on your household income. So if you live with your parents currently, then it will go on their income, depending on how much they earn. That depends on how much you will receive. In low income cases, you also receive grants as well, which you don't have to pay back. So it's worth looking into first the financial side of things before actually considering university. And then of course you have to decide on what actually course you're going to do. I think you need to weigh up whether that course is actually going to be worthwhile, whether you actually really want to do it or not, and at the end of that course, are you likely to gain employment from that course, or are you kind of just wanting to go to university for the student life? So I think you have to probably be a little bit sensible there and consider that. So getting on to the course, once you've chosen one, I did the primary education 4 years BA Honours degree, and getting on to that was absolutely insane. The competition was really high, and I think every year it tends to go up, so it's getting more and more competitive to get on these courses. But my advice is just work really hard in school and try and get the best grades that you can possibly get, because often I think the entry level for my course was BCC. However, I was predicted a grade above those, which helped me secure my place. Even though in the end I came out with all Bs in my A-levels, it did help me to get interviewed, because often applications can just get declined without even going to interview. So you need to really sell yourself and do the best that you can do to get on the course, basically. So once you get on the course, I think a lot of people expect the massive student lifestyle, and that does happen. You have Freshers Week, which is crazy. You can join in with that as much as you please. I kind of was somewhere in the middle. I didn't go extremely hard and party every single night, but I did go out to various events like Army Night and Beach Night, etc. My course actually was pretty intense during Freshers, and we were in sessions during Freshers Week, which was quite rare for a university course. So it does depend on what course you've chosen, because I know that some people weren't even in at all the first week, and then after that, even then, their sessions were, you know, maybe twice a week in the afternoon, whereas my course was pretty much 9 till 5 every single day. Which is quite surprising, and it was a bit of a shock to my system. But like I say, you get out what you put in, so if you put in the effort, then you will achieve more, in my experience anyway. As well, with university, you've got to decide whether you actually want to live in, so go to halls of residence usually for your first year, or whether you have the option of commuting from home. I did have the option of commuting, however I did feel like I wanted that kind of second home experience, so I was away from my parents but I was quite close to them at the same time, so it was kind of further enough away but close enough if I needed to nip back home for any reason. I didn't have a particularly great experience of halls of residence. I moved into a flat, a mixture of boys and girls, and the boys were incredibly noisy. They played club loud music at 3 AM pretty much every morning, and that is all, you know, fine if you're not getting up until, you know, dinner time the next day. However, when you're on a course like mine, which I had to get up, you know, off 7-8 o'clock most days, it's really tiring and it's exhausting, and it kind of plays with your mind a little bit, and I got quite homesick quite quick. I also went out one night, had a chicken burger and developed food poisoning during my first few weeks at university, so I ended up coming home and spending the worst week of my life just being really ill. But safe to say I don't really buy chicken on a night out anymore, but you do live and learn. So anyway, yeah, after 3 weeks of living in the flat that I was in, I ended up moving upstairs to some friends that I'd made. They were much nicer. It was an all-girls flat, but I don't think it made a difference. I think it was just the type of people. There was more my kind of people. And it didn't really stop the noise issues, to be fair. I never slept well, but at the same time it was really fun to be living with your friends and having so many of the people around you. Literally you could just go and knock on other flats doors and go round to your friends, your course friends, flat all the time if you wanted to, and that was really good. And also going out, it means that you can come back with people and share a taxi, because you always know someone who's coming to the same place as you. So that was really good, and don't get me wrong, I did go out pretty much every week in freshers in my first year. So although I had a pretty tough course and long hours, I still actually, you know, made time to socialise as well, because, you know, I mean, I was 19 when I started uni. I deferred a year, but when you're that age you do want to go clubbing all the time, I believe. So yeah, so you need to decide really whether you want to live at home or you want kind of a bit more of that independence and student life and live away from home. It's up to you. Then my course, with it being a teaching course, involved placements, so working in a school every day for like 5 weeks, 6 weeks. Again, that can be really tricky when you're living in somewhere like a halls of residence where there's a lot of noise, people getting in from nightclubs early hours of the morning, but you're getting up at like 6 o'clock. So that wasn't, you know, plain sailing for me, and it was quite tricky. And also working in a school, you're so professional, you have to be. So it means literally not going out until weekends, and it also means heavy workloads. You know, if you're considering being a teacher, I would say don't go into it lightly. You really need to be fully committed, and it needs to be something that you've always wanted to do, because it's one of those careers that you can't just go home and forget about it. You have to do your planning in your spare time. It's not entirely what people think. You know, people probably think what I thought when I first started. Oh, you know, schools start at 9, kids go home at 3:30, you can leave at 3:30, easy day. Well, actually no, because you usually get there before 8 o'clock and then you probably don't leave till nearly 6. Most of the time 5:30 was pretty much my home time, and then even getting home sometimes you have things to do. So then on placement I often didn't finish work until around 10. So they're very long days and it's quite stressful. But like I say, if you put in the hard work, then you usually reap the benefits, as it were, and all of my placements have been a success. So it's just worth knowing that you need to be prepared to work hard, because otherwise you can fail placement, and it means that you have to redo the year or quit the course, and I've known so many people that that's happened to, so you really do have to ensure that you're fully committed. And then the last thing that about a uni course that you need to consider is dissertation. Everyone at the end of a 3-year course or 4-year course has a dissertation. Now, for me, this year it kind of changed slightly, and I ended up not doing my dissertation because it didn't count towards my degree, and I decided that for me it wasn't worth an extra certificate because mine was 8,000 words. They range between that and 10,000, I believe. It's a lot of words to write about if your heart's not in it, and my advice would be to definitely choose a subject area that you're really passionate about and that you're really interested in, because you will lose the will to live if not. I know so many people struggle with the dissertation. The motivation towards the end of your course becomes very little. It's really hard to actually explain, but you just suddenly have no motivation towards university at all. Even if you're usually conscientious and hardworking, like I have been throughout the 4 years, towards the end it's really hard to find that extra willpower and that little last push. I've got one assignment left to do. I'm about a third of the way through it, and I am struggling big time just because I'm just fed up now of essays. I just don't ever want to write one again. But having said that, before I started uni and having that year out, I actually was almost missing writing assignments and that kind of work that requires your brain, because I was just working in a supermarket, which is fine, but I knew that for me it wasn't right. I needed a little bit more intellectual stimulation, as it were, and I was really looking forward to getting back into the work-life side of things. So I kind of think I'm crazy for thinking that now, but at the time I was really excited to get back into it. So I think it depends on what kind of person you are. If you've always been quite academic, then definitely think uni's a good option for you. If you've always struggled to write assignments, then you may find it a little bit tricky, but there is quite a lot of help and support out there. My university has various mentoring schemes, and you can go and get advice on various assignments if you need it. So definitely, don't be deterred if you really want to do something but you're worried that you're going to struggle with the assignments or whatnot, because more often than not you will be okay. You just probably need to just try that a little bit hard, more than somebody it comes more naturally to. So basically, I think in general, just make sure that you really want to do the course, assess whether it's worthwhile in terms of the fees that you're going to incur rather, and basically, weigh up whether it's going to serve you well in the long run. Don't get me wrong, I think university life is a fantastic experience, and you do definitely get the student side of things as well, regardless of how intense your course is. But I think it is about finding that balance between work life and social life, because obviously your grades can easily slip if you're going out every night and getting plastered. So anyway, if you have any questions, please leave them below and I will get back to you, or if you don't want to publicly ask them message me, that's fine. I hope that it's been helpful in some way, not too rambly, but I just wanted to share kind of my experience and my opinion of sort of university and, whether it's actually worth going. For me, I've just got a job and it's definitely been a fantastic experience for me in whole. I think there's been times when I've wanted to give up, or I've thought, what am I doing? I just want to earn money, but all that sort of hard work and being poor as a student, for me, it has been worthwhile, and I would suggest university for people, especially if you want to be a teacher, because it is a really good route to go down. Otherwise it's quite hard to get teaching jobs without it. So yeah, I hope that was useful. If you want to subscribe, please do, and I will see you guys soon. Bye!